Hi guys, it's Dr. Anna. Today we're going to be talking about something that's really important for both mental and physical health, which is gratitude journaling. You may notice I don't have my mic today because a cat broke the interface. So we're gonna have to wait for a new interface to come, but that's okay because I recorded the next videos for like the next month, so you're still gonna get good audio quality. But we live in a world where negativity sells. The YouTube videos that do the best are the ones focusing on the transgressions other people have committed. Most therapy modalities focus on treating the problem rather than taking a very strengths-oriented approach. But there is one very simple habit that has been shown to help mental health, relationships, and even your physical health, and that is practicing gratitude. So there are two kinds of gratitude. There's the emotion of gratitude, like when someone gives you a card, and then there's trait gratitude, which is more chronic. It's this idea that some people are just more naturally geared towards gratitude compared to others. Even across day-to-day fluctuations, some people are just more grateful in general. They're more grateful about things others do for them, privileges that they have. And if you think about it, the alternative to that is someone who is very take. Instead of feeling like they're receiving, they feel very entitled to receiving more things that they haven't yet received. They focus more on what they don't have rather than what they do have. The opposite of trait gratitude has been shown to be associated with excessively high self-importance, arrogance, vanity, the need to be thanked or validated or praised all the time, and entitlement. So, in other words, narcissism. That is a cluster that is very similar to narcissism. And I'm not a big fan of lay people labeling others as narcissists, but if you are familiar with narcissists in your life, you may have noticed they don't tend to be very grateful, and the very grateful people in your life tend to be quite unnarcissistic. And when we feel grateful, we feel inspired to give back. And we shift from a mindset of take to what can I give back? Because I already feel that I've received so much. Robert Emmons, one of the leading researchers on gratitude, talks about how gratitude has two components. There's the acknowledgement of the goodness in the world, that we have received abundance from friends, family, coworkers, and there's this recognition that all these great things came from outside of us. They're not something that we ourselves produced, they're things that others have given us. It's shifting from a self-focus to an other focus, and if you think about it from a spiritual dimension, of course, a lot of people who believe in a higher power or a unified consciousness amongst all humankind or even all creatures of the world, they tend to feel this sense of there are a lot of great things happening, there are a lot of great things out there that are not related to me, that are not specifically my doing, that are not necessarily things I'm entitled to, but rather blessings that I have. How do you actually practice gratitude? There are a few different methods. One method is to literally just make a list at the beginning of each day. That's a method that I particularly love because it sets you up for starting your day with automatically focusing on the positive, focusing on how much you've received, going into the day thinking that you're already so blessed. That's the technique I use in my mental health journal. It has 10 lines every day that it really challenges you to think about what you're grateful for every morning. Link in bio if you're interested, by the way. And it has more than just gratitude, but gratitude is a big portion of it. Another technique is you could make a list at the end of the day. You could also write gratitude letters. People who regularly write like a 20-minute gratitude letter to someone, even if they never send it, they tend to be happier. They tend to have better outcomes. Or you could just literally express gratitude to the people in your life. You could literally thank people for the things that they do. Once you start to notice how much people do for you, even someone letting you pass in traffic, even the cashier, customer service person, your partner bringing you a cup of tea, you start to become very finely tuned to how much you're really receiving, and it really promotes positive thinking. So that's how you actually do gratitude journaling, but How does gratitude journaling actually help your mental health? What is the mechanism at play? People who actively practice gratitude tend to be happier and they have lower rates of depression. When we think about anxiety and depression, they have a very negative focus. In anxiety, we always tend to assume the worst possible scenario, the most catastrophic outcome. Everything is going to go terribly for us in the future. And with depression, we think that we're all bad, that the world at large is bad. Maybe we think the people around us are bad. We feel a sense of shame about ourselves, guilt about past transgressions we've made, all very negative stuff. So as you can imagine, when you shift your focus into what are the positives that have happened, what have I received that I consider to be something to be grateful for, it can chip away at anxiety and depression. And of course, usually there's more than just gratitude necessary to do that. It's not like just gratitude alone is going to fix your anxiety or depression disorder, but it sure does help, and you'd be surprised how much it does. When you practice gratitude, you're able to disconnect from rumination cycles or painful emotions and switch from the glass is half empty to the glass is half full. Gratitude journaling has also been shown to augment the effects of therapy. So if you're in therapy and you do gratitude on the side, even better. There was a study where participants were split up into journaling about their negative experiences, writing gratitude letters, or only receiving therapy. And those who wrote gratitude letters had significantly better mental health even 3+ months after the exercise ended. Writing gratitude letters activates something called the medial prefrontal cortex, even after 3 months. And so this is the region that plays a role in emotional responses, emotion regulation, decision making, empathy, self-control. So that's a great part to activate. And apparently, gratitude journaling does that very long term. Not only does gratitude journaling help mental health, it actually really helps physical health as well. People high in trait gratitude tend to experience fewer health symptoms, small things like runny nose, nausea, things like that. They have lower blood pressure, increased vagal tone. If you have seen my video on the nervous system, you may remember the vagus nerve is involved in the parasympathetic response, the rest and digest, which combats fight or flight. Practicing gratitude has been associated with even making healthier decisions, like deciding whether to eat nutritious or not nutritious foods, which is kind of wild that even putting yourself in this headspace of I'm going to focus on how much I have to be grateful for can help you set up to make healthier decisions for yourself. Let me know in the comments if you have any speculations about why this might be. I'm a little puzzled. What do you think? Gratitude improves sleep and lowers stress, of course. And as we know, sleep is great for you. Stress, if it's chronic and if it's not paired with a positive outlook on stress, it can be harmful for the body. Gratitude also improves your relationships. This is something that's been called the moral memory of mankind. This idea that we remember the good things that have been done for us and we want to pay those back. There's something called the find, remind, bind theory, which says that gratitude helps us find potentially good relationships, such as, hey, that professor stayed overtime to work with me on this project I was struggling with. I think I want him to be my mentor. I think that I will contact him the next time I'm struggling. Or I think I want to pick him as my dissertation chair. Gratitude reminds us of the good existing relationships we have. Like, oh, I remember that time that Joanna really helped me when I was going through a hard time. I think I'll hit her up. Why don't we go get lunch or something? And it binds already existing positive relationships. You have more opportunities to repay what that person has done for you. You have the opportunity to consolidate the relationship, to connect with them, to bond with them one-on-one, because there's this reciprocal relationship where both of you feel like you're getting a lot out of it. This can be a good exercise if you feel like you're struggling in a particular relationship, like you've been a little bit resentful about something that a friend or a partner has been doing. Try to challenge yourself to think about what they have done for you and see if that shifts the way you feel about them a little. Studies show that couples who express gratitude to each other have an easier time voicing relationship concerns. This certainly makes sense. If you know that somebody is grateful to you, that your partner thinks you do a lot for them, you might find it easier to bring up if you have a need that's not being met. And if they already feel like you're doing a lot for them, they might be a little bit more lenient with you when they have a need that's not being met. Gratitude journaling has even been found to reduce materialism. So I think we're still just barely scratching the surface of how beneficial gratitude is as a practice, and that is why I implement it each and every single day. Also, I had stopped recording and then I realized I wanted to also touch on a few of the findings from Getting Grit. It's a book that was I didn't love it, but I did find that it had some interesting studies referenced in there that focus specifically on the importance of gratitude and keeping a positive outlook for being happy. So she talks about how people who experience micro moments of happiness, they tend to have an easier time in life, and this certainly makes sense. Micro moments, little things to be grateful for, like finding the right parking spot, getting to a meeting on time when there was a lot of traffic, all these different things you could technically put under your daily gratitude practice. And they add up over time because you start to notice them more. Instead of focusing on everything that's going wrong, you're actively tracking and building this culture of gratitude, which keeps you in this mindset of things are actually going pretty great for me. Actually, I'm pretty blessed. She also mentions that giving to others can distract us from our own worries and put our own problems in perspective. And that made me think of the find, remind, bind theory, that if you have relationships where you feel like you're receiving a lot, then you might also be tempted to give back, and giving back will further reinforce that cycle of positivity and happiness. And this isn't directly linked to gratitude, but I just wanted to share. She talks about new research that shows people who actively think about their goals and who can fit them into longer term goals are less exhausted, more satisfied at work, and even have a happier commute to work. And again, it made me think of this mental health journal because I do have in there at the beginning long-term goals, and then every single day it prompts you for smaller goals that you have for that day. As a reminder, if you want to use my daily journaling technique, check out my mental health journal. But certainly there are a lot of methods to do it out there. You can really choose whatever is best suited to your needs. Let me know what other video topics you'd like for me to cover, and I'll see you soon.